Moving on from question number 7 of logical reasoning drill set number 8 over at lawhub.lsac.org. We're going to go straight to the question stem, as always, to identify what we're being asked for. And in this case, we're being asked which one of the following, if true, most strengthens the argument. Probably one of the most common questions asked. Shouldn't take a lot of time to identify what we're being asked to do here. So we're going to read the paragraph on the left, identify the conclusion, highlight only that conclusion and any necessary reference before kind of mentally predicting what would be needed to strengthen this argument, especially if it's in a real life situation. So on the left-hand side, we've got, in an attempt to reduce spending on highways, researchers are trying to develop technology that will regulate highway tolls according to how heavy the traffic is. This technology would cause traffic to become more evenly spread out over the course of a day than it is now. Therefore, if this technology is developed, the amount of money that will have to be spent on construction of new highways will decrease. So we've got to highlight this conclusion at the end that hopefully we recognize almost immediately. But I don't want to go to the answer choices without remembering what this technology is. So technology that will regulate highway tolls according to how heavy the traffic is. So we know that we're getting this specific situation. We're going to have this technology that regulates highway tolls according to how heavy the traffic is. And if this specific technology is developed, we're going to have a lower amount of money spent on highway construction. Whenever you have a recommendation for a plan of action, you have to make sure that you're evaluating the metric of success, which in this case is that construction costs are going to go down. So we're going to go to our answer choices now and try to find one that does show the construction costs are going to go down because of this technology, and eliminate answer choices that are concerned with other potential benefits or just are ambiguous overall. Starting with choice A, the increased speeds at which people will drive because of the more evenly spread out traffic will enable some people to live farther away from work than they now live. Okay, some people. How many people is some people? Is it one person? Is it 1 million people? And how does that affect this conclusion about decreasing the construction costs anyway? So A is vague because of that some people. We need additional information to relate it to the actual metric that we're concerned with. There's a whole bunch of reasons to eliminate choice A, and hopefully you can see them as we evaluated it. Next, choice B. If highway traffic during peak volume periods is reduced, then some people who used to commute to work via mass transit will begin to drive to work on highways. Well, it's the same issue, right? Some people. And how does that affect the construction costs? There's almost the same reason to eliminate B as there was with A. Then choice C, the number of lanes a new highway needs is more strongly dependent on the peak amount of traffic it is expected to carry than on the average amount it is expected to carry. Okay, so let's just pretend you're like, number of lanes, who cares? And that could happen on the exam. You're just like, number of lanes, who cares about the number of lanes? And we'll eliminate choice C for that reason. But you have to evaluate all 5 answer choices with a consistent level of scrutiny. So I can't just assume that it's got to be D and E, and I've got to evaluate them with the same kind of close read. So choice D, using only the technology that exists now, it is possible to charge higher highway tolls during the times of day when traffic is usually heavier. Well, this is talking about the existing technology. We're not talking about the new technology. So choice D absolutely is not going to be specifically relevant to this conclusion. And furthermore, it probably weakens the argument saying we don't need the new recommended course of action. Then just scrolling down so we can see E in full, most of the people who currently commute to work on highways during peak volume periods work for employers that offer them very little, if any, flexibility in the hours they work. And I might be thinking to myself, flexibility in the hours they work. Okay, is that like they can change, they can't change? I mean, if this is the case, if they don't have flexibility, kind of similar to choice D, it's going to weaken the argument because you're not going to evenly spread things out. You're going to end up with the same level of, peak traffic because they can't change their hours of working. So E, once again, makes the conclusion seem less valid, thereby weakening it. So I've eliminated all 5 answer choices. This happens. Some people and some people, I should be able to just come up with a new color and just be like, you know what? It's still some people. It's still some people. That's still incredibly vague. But I might come back to the number of lanes. And the key is recognizing we're talking about a new highway. And it's a legitimate, logical and I have to use the term assumption, that if you are going to have a larger number of lanes, it's going to cost more money to construct that highway. So C actually shows that it costs more money to get a highway built when it's dependent on the peak amount of traffic as opposed to the average amount of traffic. So C, while it's a little bit hard to understand potentially, and remember that when you have an answer choice that is conspicuously specific, in this case it says more strongly dependent, and it's expected to carry specifically. It's got the details. C ends up being the right answer. And you just have to be careful about using that phrasing of out of scope incorrectly. Allow yourself to eliminate all 5 answer choices and then go back so that you can still get the right answer, even if you have to execute 2 passes of elimination.